Okay សួស្តីអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាអញ្ចឹងយើងបានចប់នៅ4វីដេអូរួចជាស្រេចទៅហើយណាពាក់ព័ន្ធជាមួយនឹងអំណាចរបស់យើងនេះឯងណា literatures ណាដែលខ្ញុំបានអានឲ្យគ្នាយើងស្ដាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធជាមួយនឹង4នឹងហើយណាអញ្ចឹងជើងនេះគឺយើងនិយាយបន្តទៅលើ part ទី5ណាpart 5នៃអំណាចរបស់យើង the hitchhiker ណាអូខេតោះយើងបន្តចូល part 5របស់យើងតែម្ដង the hitchhiker the hitchhiker ណា What about it? I said. Anyone around here missing a shoelace? He asked, grinning. I glanced down at my shoes. The legs of one of them was missing. Good grief, I said. How did you do that? I never saw my bending down. You never saw nothing, he said proudly. You never even saw me move an inch. And you know why? Yes, I said. Because you've got fantastic fingers. Exactly right, he cried. You catch on pretty quick, don't you? He sat back and sucked away at his homemade cigarette, blowing the smoke out in a thin stream against the windshield. He knew he had impressed me greatly with those two tricks, and this made him very happy. I don't want to be late, he said. I think I know what you do, I said. You do conjuring tricks. You a conjurer. Me? He snorted. A conjurer? Can you picture me going round Grammy kids parties making rabbits come out of top hats? Then you a card player. You get people into card games and you deal yourself marvelous hands. Me? A rotten card sharper, he cried. That's miserable cricket if even there was one. All right, I give up. I was taking the car along slowly now, at no more than 40 miles an hour, to make quite sure I wasn't stopped again. We had come onto the main London-Oxford road and were running down the hill toward Denham. Suddenly, my passenger was holding up a black leather belt in his hand. Ever seen this before? He asked. The belt had a breast buckle of unusual design. Hey, I said, that's mine, isn't it? It is mine. Where did you get it? He grinned and waved the belt gently from side to side. Where do you think I got it? He said. Off the top of your trousers, of course. I reached down and felt for my belt. It was gone. You mean you took it off me while we've been driving along? I asked, flabbergasted. He nodded. watching me all the time with those little black rat eyes. That's impossible, I said. You'd have had to undo the buckle and slice the whole thing out through the loops all the way round. I'd have seen you doing it, and when it even if I hadn't seen you, I'd have felt it. Ah, but you didn't, did you? He said, triumphant. He dropped the belt on his lap, and now all at once there was a brown shoelace dangling from his fingers. And what about this, Dan? He exclaimed, waving the shoelace. Uh, what time is it? There's a clock in front of you, I told him. I don't trust car clocks, he said. What does your watch say? I hitched up my sleeve to look at the watch on my wrist. It wasn't there. I looked at the man. He looked back at me, grinning. You've taken that too? I said. He held out his hand, and there was my watch lying in his palm. Nice bit of stuff, this, he said. Superior quality. 18-karat gold, easy to sell too. It's never any trouble getting rid of quality goods. I'd like it back if you don't mind, I said rather huffily. He placed the watch carefully on the leather tray in front of him. I wouldn't nick anything from you, Governor, he said. You've my pearl. You given me a lift. I'm glad to hear it, I said. All I'm doing is answering your questions, he went on. You asked me what I did for a living, and I'm showing you. What else have you got of mine? He smiled again, and now he started to take from the pocket of his jacket one thing after another that belonged to me. My driver's license, a key ring with 4 keys on it, some pound notes, a few coins, a letter from my publishers, my diary, a stubby old pencil, a cigarette lighter, and last of all, a beautiful old sapphire ring with pearls around it belonging to my wife. It was taking the ring up to a jeweler in London because one of the pearls was missing. Now there's another lovely piece of goods, he said, turning the ring over in his fingers. That's 18th century, if I'm not mistaken, from the range of King George of Third. George the Third. You're right, I said, impressed. You're absolutely right. He put the ring on the leather tray with the other items. So you'd a pickpocket? I don't like that word, he answered. It's a coarse and vulgar word. Pickpockets is a coarse and vulgar people who only do easy little amateur jobs. The, they lift money from blind old ladies. What do you call yourself, Dan? Me? I'm a fingersmith. I'm a professional fingersmith. He spoke the words solemnly and proudly, as though he were telling me he was the president of Royal College of Surgeons or the Archbishop of Canterbury. I've never heard that word before, I said. Did you invent it? Because I didn't invent it, he replied. It's the name given to them who risen off to the very top of the profession. You've heard of a goldsmith and a silversmith, for instance. They expert with gold and silver. I'm an expert with my fingers, so I'm a fingersmith. It must be an interesting job. It's a marvelous job, he answered. It's lovely, and that's why you go to the races. Race meetings is easy meet, he said. He just stand around after the race, watching for the lucky ones to queue up and draw their money. And when you see someone collecting big bundle of notes, you simply follows after and help myself, him and help myself. But don't get me wrong, governor. I never takes nothing from a loser, nor from poor people neither. I only go after them as can afford it, and the winners and the rich. That's very thoughtful to you, I said. How often do you get caught? Caught? He cried, disgusted. Me get caught? It's only okay. So this is the end of the part 5 of our literature story. Okay. ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមបញ្ចប់reading យើងត្រឹមនេះណាខ្ញុំនឹងបន្ត reading នៅក្នុងវីដេអូបន្តទៀតអូខេ see you in next video